When food is too delicious, sometimes the teeth are the first to protest. Huh?
Huh?
What happened?
Huh?
In Bluey's mind, everything seemed 10 times more dramatic than it actually was.
Come on, let's go!
Hi!
Huh?
It turned out things weren't as scary as Bluey imagined. And today's lesson is, delicious food is fun, but remember to brush your teeth every day. Night camping. Late afternoon, still bright daylight. The family loads camping gear into the car, tent, bags, flashlight. The kids bounce excitedly. Dad gives a confident thumbs up. Mom smiles. Dad and Mom set up the tent. The kids help hold poles and pegs. The tent is finally finished. The sky turns dark. The forest becomes quiet. Leaves rustle in the wind. The kids press close to Mom and Dad. Dad swallows nervously. Mom looks around, uneasy. A small noise from the bushes. Everyone freezes. Dad switches on the flashlight. Its beam shakes. Just a bug. No danger. But nobody relaxes. The family looks at each other. Mom gently shakes her head. Dad nods very quickly. The kids immediately run back toward the car. The tent stands alone behind them. 5 minutes at the beach, sunny beach. The family arrives with arms full of gear. Tent, mat, beach bag. The kid bounces with excitement. Dad carefully sets up the beach tent. Mom spreads out the mat and arranges items neatly. The kid stares at the ocean, eyes sparkling. The moment Mom and Dad turn away, the kid runs straight into the water. A strong gust of wind blows. The tent flips and flies. The mat slides across the sand. Dad chases the flying tent. Mom grabs the mat. They exchange panicked looks. Cut back to the kid, still playing joyfully in the waves, waving happily at Mom and Dad. Mom and Dad look toward the water, worried but amused. The kid runs up from the water and hugs them. Saving a broken plant. A calm afternoon after the rain. The little brother runs around the garden, then suddenly stops. He points. A young plant has been bent and broken by the wind, its stem leaning close to the ground. The little brother bends down to look, his face turning sad. The sister steps closer, gently touches the stem, and shakes her head worriedly. Dad examines the break carefully and nods with a decision. Dad gently straightens the plant's stem. Mom holds the base, adds more soil, pressing it firmly around the roots. The sister places 2 wooden stakes on either side. The little brother passes the string, carefully tying it around the stem. The string is tightened just enough, not too tight. A light breeze. A gentle wind blows. The plant stands firm. Its leaves tremble softly, no longer leaning. The family applauds, as if they've just saved someone. the giant balloon. The family gathers around a huge balloon. Dad holds a hand pump. Mom holds the balloon's neck. The kids watch excitedly.
Oh.
The balloon grows bigger, bigger. The kids' eyes widen.
Yippee!
Dad and Mom exchange a slightly worried look, but keep going. The younger child hugs the balloon tightly. The balloon lifts the child off the ground. Feet dangle in the air. The child laughs and squeals. Dad and Mom gasp. Dad jumps, trying to grab the child. Mom pulls gently on the balloon string. Too weak. The older kid runs to grab a pin/sharp stick. Everyone gestures quickly to each other. Dad and Mom pull an air mattress/inflatable mat underneath. The older kid pops the balloon. Hiss! The balloon slowly deflates. The younger child floats down gently onto the air mattress. Bounces once, then sits up smiling. Everyone exhales in relief. Bluey discovered an empty corner in the garden. Bluey decided to plant a new tree. Bluey began preparing the planting spot. Bluey wanted the tree to be planted in a suitable place. The small tree was placed down very gently. Bluey watered the newly planted tree. Bluey tried placing the tree in a cooler spot. Bingo also wanted to help plant the tree. The small tree gradually took root in the soil. Bluey marked the planting spot for the new tree. The garden looked more beautiful with the new tree. A small tree can also bring great joy. Sometimes, things that seem worthless can unlock new joys. An empty box could be anything.
Ah.
A little clumsiness is essential. With help, things become easier. From simple pieces, a toy is born. A homemade toy always brings a special feeling. When imagination leads the way, play becomes vibrant. Every little stroke makes the toy more adorable. When you know how to reuse and create, joy always begins with simple things. After breakfast, the dining table needs to be tidied up. When starting out with small tasks, everyone can be a little clumsy. Slowing down makes things easier to manage. Observing the correct way to do things helps make the job tidier. Working together makes things easier. Being careful in each small step helps avoid making more mess. Correcting mistakes helps the work continue smoothly. Clearly visible results bring a very pleasant feeling. Completing small tasks by hand helps children gain more confidence. Maintaining a tidy routine every day keeps the home warm and inviting. The fish tank mistake. A fish tank sits neatly on a table. The fish swim happily. Dad sprinkles fish food carefully, nodding with satisfaction. Dad feeds the fish. Fish swim up excitedly. The kids press their faces to the glass, pointing. One day, Dad is busy. Mom picks up a white container that looks like fish food. Mom pours it into the tank. The water turns cloudy. Mom looks at the container again. Salt. Mom's eyes widen. The whole family springs into action. Dad gently moves the fish into a temporary bowl. Mom drains the tank. The kids carry buckets of water very seriously. Music speeds up slightly. Fresh water is poured in. The filter turns on. The fish are carefully returned to the tank. Everyone leans in, holding their breath. The fish start swimming again, happy and lively. The kids jump with joy. Dad exhales in relief. Mom smiles awkwardly and pats her chest. As the afternoon draws to a close, the sky begins to change.
Whoa! Woo-hoo-hoo!
Each cloud seems to be telling a story. The sunset slows everything down.
Oh, bye-bye.
The sun slowly prepares to go to sleep. The last light of the day is so gentle.
Whoa! Bye!
Another day is coming to an end. Silent moments are always memorable. Today ends on a warm note. Building a small fence. A cool morning. The whole family stands in front of an empty patch of yard. Dad pulls out a measuring tape to check the spacing. Mom marks the spots with white chalk. Sister and little brother line up the short wooden posts. Dad grabs a hammer and drives in the first post. Thud, thud. Firm and steady. Mom holds the post, checking the balance by eye. She nods to signal it's good. Sister passes over a wooden plank. Little brother runs back and forth, handing over nails. Thud! The post tilts slightly. Mom raises her hand to stop. The family steps back to look. Dad pulls the post out and adjusts it. Sister holds one end. Mom steadies it. Dad hammers again. Their rhythm becomes steady. The fence grows section by section. The fence is complete. Little brother taps a post lightly. Tap, tap. Mom, Dad, and sister smile with pride. After a night of gentle breeze, the garden was full of dry leaves. Bluey thought of a way to utilize these leaves. Bluey prepared a place to collect the dry leaves. Dry leaves were collected from many different corners.
Huh? Oh.
Bingo also helped collect the leaves. Dry leaves were collected from many different corners. A little water helped the dry leaves decompose faster. Bluey didn't leave a single leaf behind. The compost bin was ready. Compost will help the plants in the garden grow faster. Everything in the garden is useful. Today's dry leaves will become nutrients for tomorrow's plants. Snowman. Where's the car? The family gets into their car. Doors close. Seatbelts click. Everyone looks ready and excited. Inside the supermarket, quick montage, an empty cart rolls in. Items pile up fast. The cart is now overflowing. At the register, the receipt prints and prints and prints. Dad stares at it nervously. Mom nods calmly. Outside the store, the family pushes the heavy cart forward. Dad strains. Mom helps steer. The kids push proudly. They move far, very far, like they're walking home. They stop. Dad looks around. No car. Dad pulls out the car keys. Mom slowly turns and looks back toward the store. The family car sits alone in the parking lot. Back to the family, standing far away. Dad scratches his head, embarrassed. Mom crosses her arms, amused. The kids giggle.
The Lost Paper Airplane. One beautiful morning, Bluey and Bingo decided to create some amazing airplanes. Bluey loves speed while Bingo prefers smooth flights. Everything is ready to go.
Let's go.
Whoosh! Bluey's plane flew higher than expected, but it seems it chose a rather difficult landing spot.
Oh.
Oh no, it's stuck. How do we get the green pilot down here? The power of sisterhood has been activated, but this tree still seems to be growing very tall. Perfect throw! Bingo is truly a brilliant strategist. Sometimes the rescue mission itself is more rewarding than watching it fly. Finally, the flight crew was reunited. The backyard sky was once again filled with laughter.
Bluey decided to take a short trip to the forest. The trip began with some light preparations. The path into the forest revealed many new things. The forest offered a sense of peace and tranquility. Bingo and Bluey explored the forest. A break made the trip even more fulfilling. The forest trip continued with many interesting things. The trip to the forest brought simple and memorable joys.